Good evening, everyone. It is time for Transformational Talks with Coach BJ. So come on in this evening. I am so ready to have this conversation with you guys. So have all of your entrepreneur friends, small business owners, solopreneurs, leaders. We just want everyone to come into the room this evening. It is time for Spotlight Tuesdays with Coach BJ. So come on in and let me know that you are here and watching in the comments. I see people are beginning to get on and join. So thank you so much for being here this evening. If you know of any entrepreneurs or small business owners that would love to join this conversation, I would love for you to share it with some of your business owners, friends that you know, if you feel led to do so. Good evening, Deborah. Thank you for always watching. Thank you so much. Everyone continue to come on in for this conversation. Good evening, everyone. Glad you can be here. I'm going to go ahead and give it maybe one more minute, and I'm going to go ahead and get started and be mindful of the time as usual. As you guys continue to come in, go ahead and let me know that you are here so I can acknowledge you and say good evening. And if not, I just thank you for being here this evening. I'm so ready to get into this conversation. And this is part one tonight. So be on watch because we're going to have a part two panel discussion next Thursday at 7 p.m. And I'll mention that again at the end of this live. Good evening. How are you? Cindy Jean? I think you're saying Kamisha Green, but I think you're probably looking at someone else's, you're on someone else's thing. So good evening, Cindy. How are you? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys know any entrepreneurs, as you guys continue to come in, any small business owners that want to be a part of this conversation, again, this is part one with me personally. And if you know of any business owners or entrepreneurs that would love to get into this conversation, I would love for everyone to be here. Those who support small businesses, I want them to come on in as well. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for you guys for joining. And I just wanted to open up with the conversation because I know oftentimes, you know, especially with the topic that I gave, it was one of those topics that I'm sure that was kind of an eye opener and probably won't be as popular as other topics tonight. But I wanted to open up the conversation about supporting small businesses. And I wanted to be able to give it from the perspective of both the small business owner and also those who support small businesses. And even those who probably secretly don't support small businesses. So I want to really have a conversation and speak from all three perspectives this evening, because I think there's a couple of myths and also some truths about the subject that I posed tonight as it relates to supporting small businesses from both, again, the business owner and the consumer perspective. So I have had conversations with both my fellow small business owners and consumers that choose to support, and then some that choose not to support. And I want to be able to give, again, all, viewpoints and some perspective on all ends, right? Because I think, as a business owner like myself and other small business owners and owners of companies that I speak with, a lot of times they assume, various reasons as to why, people don't support their business. So I want to kind of put out there some points that will hopefully kill, some of the myths that are out there and really speak about some of the truths that people could be going through as it relates to supporting businesses and some things that the business owners need to know. And there's some things that the consumers need to know as to how business owners feel as it relates to people's success and again, maybe secretly, being, bothered by other people's success. And I want to let people know that let both the small business owner and the consumer know that it's not like you are jealous or envious of someone else's success. And I want to really tell you what it might be, right? So I wanted to dispel that myth about people being jealous of you or, some of those things. And like I said, there may be a small few that may that are maybe jealous, but it's not the majority like people think. So I wanted to dispel, some of those myths and rumors are out there about that. So, one of the things that entrepreneurs in general, as we have conversations or you just see even on social media or certain posts, that begs the question that a lot of people want to know as a business owner. So when business owners post their products or services, or they just got into business and they're very excited about it. And, there it's like crickets. You don't get anything, right? So it's like, but if you put out like a picture of your family or your kids, you just got a new job or promotion, or selfies that you might put out there, you've lost weight, so we have all of these pictures, and oh my gosh, celebrating anniversaries and weddings and baby showers and all of these various things. And so a lot of business owners, they wonder, so why when I post those specific things, they're celebrated, but then when I have found my gift or my purpose in life or something that I developed or invented, it seems to be crickets, right? And that is a resounding theme among business owners. They wonder why. And like I said, I'm just opening up the conversation because a lot of people rarely really want to talk about this, and even most business owners are, they feel some kind of way about their family members not supporting them or their friends, and again, I want to be able to give business owners a perspective as to why, because like I said, this is not just talking about the person that supports, but everybody needs to acknowledge certain things on both ends, so, again, the business owners are just wondering why they don't get the same love, right? As all of the other topics that I just mentioned. So, this leads the business owners to assume, and I say assume, like I said earlier when I open up, is that people are jealous of them or envious of their success, or they don't want the person to get ahead, and or they just might not even just want to support businesses at all, right? For whatever reason it might be. So before I get into the consumer standpoint on those who support businesses and their thoughts that I'm going to share with everyone, I want to give my perspective on a few reasons that might resonate with you as it relates to most business owners believing that people, might be jealous or envious of their success. Now, don't get me wrong. I truly believe that in some cases, there are some people that are jealous. And I'm going to give you an example. There was a business owner a couple of years ago was talking to her, and she actually posed a question to someone that didn't support her business. And she asked them, well, I came out with this, I have this, great thing going on my business, and, you're going to support the other people. So why don't you support my business? And the person responded and was actually bold enough to tell her that she didn't want her to get ahead of her. And when she told me that, I was like, wow. And I said, wow, for a few reasons, because the person who posed the question, the business owner, first of all, even had the courage to even ask the individual why they don't support. Typically, as business owners, if our family, friends, or people don't support us, we don't typically ask why. We just feel like, whatever we feel, well, oh, well, I guess they don't want to support me, or we're in our feelings or emotions or whatever it is, or they're jealous, or again, all of these things that we might say as business owners. So I really applaud even a business owner that they even asked the question, why don't you support my business? And on the other side of it, I really was shocked at the answer. But even though I was shocked at the answer that the person said they didn't want them to get ahead of them, I actually also respected the person for at least telling the truth, right? Because that's something that people won't just boldly tell you, well, I don't want you to get ahead of me. People will never say that. So I was really shocked that somebody was actually bold enough to share with this business owner that she didn't want her to get ahead. And so, but I would rather, and I would respect a person more so for telling me the truth than to make up a reason and say, well, girl, I'm going to support you, eventually, or, I plan to share your business with my network so you can get some business or whatever, or just to say anything to try to put the person off at bay to say, okay, yeah, I'll support you, right? So, what I'm about to share with you, I believe it is, it's not that people don't want to support your business. It's more about how it starts, right? And that's what I want to get in, first, at how it starts. For some reason, people may not be interested in the success of others, right? So again, let's look at how it starts. So it started mostly with people like myself being taught, and I'm not saying actually somebody may be verbally teaching you, but I think it's a cultural thing where You go to school, right? You get an education, you get a good job. As people say, go out and get a good job. You climb the corporate ladder, you make a lot of money, then you retire, and then you prepare for your last wishes. So that's almost like a understood way of success. This is what success equals. And realistically, a small percentage of people, that is their destiny. And they truly live a fulfilled life because whatever they are doing in that role as an individual contributor is what they're actually called to do in life. Everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur or to step out there. And so everybody's purpose doesn't have to do with owning your own business or being the founder of a nonprofit organization or creating a product. Your purpose in life could be an individual contributor where you are thriving in the industry that you're in, working for a company, right? And so again, for a small percentage of people, that is their destiny. That is where they're supposed to be. Good evening, Mom. Good evening, Don. Thank you so much for joining as well. But for the majority of people, a job will never equal success in life or even give them the amount of fulfillment or joy that most people seek in their lifetime. So the ultimate fulfillment is only achieved when you are operating in your purpose and you're doing what you have been destined to do or called to do. That's where you're going to get your ultimate fulfillment. And some of the reasons other people's success could secretly bother those where it does secretly bother them can be based on a couple of things. And a lot of it is taught. So for those of you who are out there listening or watching a replay, and when I say secretly bother you, I'm going to address that as well, because I think that again, we don't know. So when I say it secretly bothers you, again, it doesn't mean that you're jealous or envious of somebody, but it could see somebody else's success could secretly bother you for other reasons, right? So one of the things I will mention is that it's the lack of knowledge. As I stated earlier, a lot of us grew up being taught success equals education plus job equals retirement. So for some reason, we didn't grow up learning about your life fulfilled equal your God-given talent or the gift you were born with. It really didn't add up, because when we're in school or at church or anywhere else, your teachers or people around you would always say, well, Bernitha, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know? And so no one ever asked me, what gifts do you have inside of you? What do you think you're going to bring to the world, right? For us to actually look inwardly, but we were unconsciously taught to look outwardly. So let's look up to other people in other industries to kind of see, okay, a lawyer, a teacher, a fireman, a police officer, all of these various, industry and careers, career day. Remember career day at school? They would have people come in and, talk about career day and their careers. And so we were taught to look outwardly as to what does that look like for us. And again, some of those industries were probably a visual to let us know to tap inside of us to say, you know what, I am meant to be a teacher. I am meant to be an attorney. And that's okay if that's what you're destined to do. But again, we were never taught to look inwardly. So one of the other things, and the reason why you could be secretly bothered is because, we want to feel like we're somebody. We want to feel validated. We want to feel recognized, if you will. And what I mean by this is that, we have been taught, again, that certain careers or industry hold a higher status than others, or this will make us more money, or we're inspired by this career because it gives us this notoriety, like maybe being in politics or something that's going to give you exposure, celebrities, simply because you make a lot of money. So a lot of times what happens is that we end up in career paths that was never meant for us, and we end up unhappy. So, again, take a lot of people like celebrities and professional athletes and doctors and lawyers. And, a lot of people, depending on their parents or their community or their village, was really pushed into a lot of the careers and jobs and industries that they're in now. And a lot of times it wasn't necessarily what they wanted to do. So again, in this case, you end up being where what you do will never equal success for them. It will never equal success because it's something that you was pushed into, or again, you were taught to look outwardly and not inwardly, as to what you were supposed to be doing. So, some of the other reasons, again, other people's success could secretly bother you is you might have missed your opportunity. And what I mean by that is that being stubborn or self will, and I'm going to give you, for instance, you may have had several opportunities to operate in your purpose or your gift, and you made excuses as to why you couldn't. So, guess what? The number one reason as to why we say no or we shy away from something is because we don't, one of the things is because we don't think we're good enough or educated enough a lot of times, or for whatever reason validated, not to do something that we want to do. So another reason is that that person stole my idea. That's another thing. So again, what's secretly bothering you is not jealousy or envious. You're just kind of like, man, I didn't set on this app idea, or I have set on this idea to create this skincare product. And now Bernitha then came out with it and she didn't told everybody about what she did. And man, I just didn't do it, So again, you know, you're sitting on these great ideas and you're sitting on your purpose and sitting on what you're supposed to be doing. And a lot of times when it comes out, you're on social media like this and you're scrolling through and you're just kind of like, boom, it hits you. And you're just like, man, And so again, a lot of times it's not really that, it's really more so disappointment in yourself that, man, I missed my opportunity, right? Or it could not even be your idea, right? But it could be, man, exactly, Don. We make every excuse in the book, every excuse in the book, right? And Deborah Wright, the room for everyone is to bloom, right? The biggest opportunity and the biggest room in the world is room for opportunity. Exactly. you know and so the thing is, it might not even be, again, an idea that you sat on, but again, you could be looking at other people moving forward and you kind of sit back and, again, you're not jealous or envious, but you just kind of look back because it begins to make you look at yourself and say, man, what am I doing? Especially if you're not happy with yourself right now, especially if you have goals or dreams or a mission that you have failed to do or failed to kind of step out on. And then you look at other people, you're like, man, you have that, I wish I was, did that, or I wish I, had enough gall to do that, or enough money to do that, or enough education, to do these various things, right? But you can. You really do. You do have the opportunity to do that, but you just have to be able to look inside and to be able to seek those opportunities. So you don't want to operate off of missed opportunities, you know? And so one of the biggest things that you can look at as it relates to people is that they move away from social media. They move away from events, TV, everything to really get behind the scenes, and they diligently working behind the scenes on their gift, their business, their product, or their service. And boom, it's ready to be revealed. And then you have a few people that's just kind of like, yeah, you have those people that's gonna like or do whatever the case may be. But then those people that are, again, secretly bothered, again, it's not so much about them being secretly bothered about, again, being jealous or envious. But again, it goes back to, man, I wish I was doing this. But look at what they had to do. Look at what they had to give up, right, in order to make that happen. So these are the things that you need to be thinking about, when you're trying to plan or your goals or your missions about what you want to do, right? So let me see. Dunn said, call a spade a spade. Jealousy sets in, or or that's why, you said that's their mentality, basically. Right, exactly. you know so one of the things that you want to be able to is that if you have something, I want to caution you, don't miss the opportunity, right? Invest the time, step away from whatever you need to step away from that is a distraction, so you can get to your next level, so you can reach your success, so you don't have to look at other people's posts and look internally to feel like, man, I'm not where I want to be. But you can be where you want to be as well, right? So that's what I want you to be able to look at. Look within, right? Don't look outwardly, look within to figure out what you need to do to get to where you want to be. So I want to be able to shift gears now. And I want to highlight some things I have heard from the consumer and for those who support small businesses. So I want to shift. So Now, again, I'm still only talking about the ones that are not jealous and do support, right? Or again, because I say you do have a very small few that might be jealous, right? But again, that larger percentage really is because they haven't reached their own levels of success. So it's not that they're jealous, right? It's just the fact that, hey, I'm not doing, well, or I'm not where I want to be. So again, I'm going to shift gears and talk to those who support small business, and I want to talk from a consumer perspective. Because believe it or not, business owners that are watching, there are consumers that have very good reasons as to why they don't support your business. So again, it's not about being jealous, or it's not about being envious of you or what you're doing. You have to really look inwardly yourself as a business owner to figure out why you're not getting to support for those who do support businesses. So the first thing I'm going to bring up is not having the product or service that meet their needs. This is a genuinely good reason as to why they may not support your business. They may not need skincare products. They may not need jewelry. They may not need some of the things that you have. So that may be a reason why they're not supporting your business, not because they're jealous or because they don't want to. It just could be that your services don't meet their needs, right? But to that same point, I will say from a business owner perspective is that even if it doesn't meet your needs, you can still share, right? If you feel led to do so, share their products and services, because even though it may not meet your needs, it could very well support and meet someone else's needs that's looking for a solution for whatever the problem they're trying to solve, whether it's I need to have more jewelry so I can look more alive, or whatever the case may be, or skincare products to make sure my skin is beautiful, whatever the case may be, right? It could serve a purpose for someone else, right? And if you don't decide to share someone post or someone products or services, then I would beg the question for you to look inwardly yourself and ask yourself, why won't I even share it? No, their product is not for me, but even determine why won't I share it, right? So that's a question. And if you have a valid reason within yourself as to why you still won't share it, maybe I don't like their business practices, or whatever the case may be, then you're within your right. But for those who just don't share for the sake of not sharing, I would challenge you to ask yourself, well, why won't I even share the post? Why won't I even share this person's information? I'm connected to this person on social media. I'm either their friend or family or connected to them in some kind of way. So you got to still be engaged with them for some reason, right? So I challenge you to ask yourself if you don't share it, right? But it's okay if their business or product doesn't meet your need. So the second thing I will say is that consumers don't like when business owners try to bully them or make them feel guilty about not supporting their business. That is a big one. A lot of people try to make you feel bad, or they try to make you feel guilty of bullying. So as business owners, we also have to look within ourselves and say, we can't bully people into, buying our products or doing those various things. We can't do that. That's not right. And I'll just take, my business, as my coaching practice. Personally, I'm not very good. I am going to start getting better. But people who know me personally, I'm not good at promoting my business. I'm just not. I'm good at, telling everybody things, giving away it all. But I don't do a good job at promoting my business. I guess I just kind of depend on referrals. I depend on all of these things. But I will let you know that's going to change. So watch out. But even with my lives, or even with anything that I do, I always say, if you feel led to do so, if you feel led to support this talk, or led to, do this, then feel free to do that. Because one thing I need for every business owner to understand is that what God has for you is for you. Can't nobody else steal your customers. Can't nobody else take your loyal customers away from you. If you're doing good business and you have good products and you have things that people need that is solving a problem, which is pretty much your gift, then you won't have to worry about any of those things. You don't have to worry. People are going to come to you because you provide a good service for them, right? And so, that's one of the things that, again, we need to identify and we need to look at. If people feel led, don't bully people into supporting you. Just let them do what they want to do, because, again, what God has for you is for you. Nobody can take anything away from you that God has for you personally. And so the third thing I'll say is that, consumers want business owners to provide outstanding customer service. And unfortunately, some people feel like they can get better treatment from the bigger guys or get better treatment from someone else. So they may not be supporting your businesses because your customer service. You don't get back to them in a timely manner. They buy products from you. You don't ship them on time. There are so many reasons why. Again, I'm just telling you what I hear from consumers and what I hear from people who support businesses. This is what I hear from them. So again, like I said, this talk was going to be on both sides of the coin. It's just not about beating up the consumer or for not supporting, but it's also for me and, as a business owner and those who are out here that are business owners, that are watching now and who will watch the replay, again, is to understanding that you got to make sure that you are providing a good product, good services, and customer service, and making sure that you treat your customers fair. That's number 3. And the 4th thing is consumers often say our prices are too high, and this may happen for a small amount of businesses, but a lot of times I don't agree with this because when you invest and spend your money into a business, you want to make sure that you're getting what you're getting out of it. But unfortunately, I will say at oftentimes that it's not so much as a small business owner's prices being too high. Like I said, in some cases, that is true for those consumers out here who say, man, businesses do overprice their products. Small businesses do, right? But what I will say about this is that a lot of times when people first get into business, and this is a heads up for the consumer, as a small business owner, when we get into business at the beginning, a lot of times that we have not managed our money insecurities. So what we'll do is that we'll go above and beyond and say, okay, I'll give you this at a discount, or, here's, I'll take off this amount of money. So a lot of people, unfortunately, as small business owners, they go into it with, okay, I want to make the money and I'm gonna do whatever it is to make sure I don't lose this customer, but unfortunately, they're, them being so lenient up front ends up biting them in the end, because what happens is that once they find out their value and their worth in their profession or with their products, then when they begin to raise their prices and they don't charge the same, and if people come back and say, you're charging too much money, or the people who are new coming in, they may say, you're charging too much money, right? But it's not that you're charging too much money necessarily, you're charging with your worth. But a lot of times, again, a caution to the business owner, make sure you evaluate your products and your services up front, and don't bend on your prices, right? So people can know upfront, and you can set the expectation that here's what I charge, and and keep your prices that way. Because when you begin to fluctuate, then people's like, oh, they trying to take me for my money. They're trying to, get the money from me. And it's really not that. It really is just that a lot of times, as business owners, we don't set our prices up front the way we need to. So we have to kind of backtrack and say, hey, I'm doing a little bit more work. I'm doing too much, not getting what I'm worth, right? So that's just a word for the consumers and a caution for the business owners. Set your prices up front the way they're supposed to be, so you don't have those issues. You are just consistent from the beginning. And so the 5th thing that I want to share is that, and the final point from the consumer perspective is that they get annoyed when they're connected to business owners who have a new business every time they see them. That leads them to believe they are only in business to make money. And most people do not trust, and they do not like to do business with people who jump around too much. It's like this week you have this type of business, and then, a month later you got another marketing level, networking business, right? Now, mind you, I do know people that I've had on my Spotlight Tuesdays that run multiple businesses, right? But they have been running multiple businesses consistently for a while. So they have consistency and trust with their following and their loyal customers. Those aren't the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who have a new business, again, once a month, every week, right? So it's almost like you don't even know where you fit in. So for that type of business owner, get focused on what your gift is and what you're destined to do. Don't pull straws. We're not called to do everything, right? We're not called to do everything, and a lot of people end up looking for their gift by trial and error, right? So again, a lot of people don't trust those type of business owners. So again, that's why they don't do business, because they feel like, okay, they're just out for the money. This is not really what they, they're supposed to do. So hear me when I say this. When you are operating in your gift, when you're operating in the industry that you're supposed to be in, the wealth is going to follow. So you don't have to fight for consumers. You don't have to try to say, I want to appeal to everybody. You're going to appeal to the people you are supposed to appeal to with your product, with your services, with your business. Trust me when I say that. the wealth and the money will follow. So, for all the business owners who may assume your network is jealous or envious, or for those who might secretly don't like to see others win, this, in my opinion, is what most people deal with. So, I believe until you look inside and realize your own gift and start walking into your path of your identity, and your destiny, you will most likely be secretly bothered by the success of others. And again, it's not because you're jealous or envious, it's just because you haven't reached your own path, your own destiny, your own success, a level of success that you want to accomplish. So, again, you want to be able to find your own success, right? And so, what you want to be able to do is do a pulse check with yourself, check in with yourself, and really just kind of see, what am I supposed to be doing? Am I happy with myself? And that's one of the challenges that I want to do for everybody that's out there watching tonight, and those who will watch the replay. Check where you are. Do a maintenance check. Oftentimes I tell my clients, to really check in with yourself. A lot of times we do maintenance on our cars, we do maintenance on everything, our house, we do maintenance on everything. But a lot of times we fail to really do a check-in with ourselves and see where we are in life in general. We don't take the time to do that, right? Even if we have to press the reset button or to start over, it's better to do that than to go through life unfulfilled and not happy. So the next time that you are scrolling on social media and someone you are connected to makes an announcement about their business, etc., if you look at it and you just keep scrolling on by, right? If you do that, I want you to stop and just ask yourself, why didn't I comment or hit like? And if you stop and ask yourself that question, you really may again start to discover then what is inside of me that caused me not to do that, right? Again, you will find out that it's not because you are necessarily jealous or not happy for that person. But again, it's a sign you can have missed your own opportunity or may look within and you haven't reached your own level of success that you're looking for, right? But I promise you, if you can just take the time to sit with yourself and really determine what that looks like for you, you will find the answer. So I wanted to be able to give this talk tonight on both perspectives and really just open it up to really have this discussion because again, there are so many myths and misconceptions out there as it relates to the business owner, as it relates to consumers, and a lot of talk about why we don't support each other, right? But I need for both people to understand that from a business owner, you may need to step up your game, right? That's probably why you're not getting the support that you're looking for. And again, as the consumer, for those who, like I said, for the small percentage, I'm not talking to the small percentage out there, the 1%, I'm going to say out of 100% that might be jealous or envious. I'm talking about the other 75% that would like to support your business, right? But to also look at how the business owner feel. They don't want to only be celebrated when they post a family picture. They don't want to only be celebrated when they post some type of celebration, right? They want to be, we need to support and celebrate each other for our successes and our wins, and that person has found their gift and what they've been destined to do and the industry that they're supposed to be in so they can thrive. When people have found their gift in life, they are solving a problem for the world out here, right? And that's what's the important thing. They're solving someone's problem or they're answering someone's prayer. That's what I always say. When somebody has found their gift, the next time you see somebody post their business or post success, celebrate them. And again, if it's a product that you're not interested in, that's okay, right? It's okay that you're not interested in that product and services, but at least share it within your network because somebody else may be interested. And that's why it's important for me when I do my Spotlight Tuesdays with Coach BJ. When I do those, is because I really want to spotlight a lot of people, businesses, and organizations that are really doing great work in the community and over the US. I mean, they're doing great work for their customers and consumers. They really are. And a lot of them are truly operating in their gift. And it's not just about making money, but they are truly helping solving people problems. And so I hope that this talk really gave you some insight this evening on these perspectives. And I appreciate all of you who have joined me tonight and or who will catch the replay. And I really look forward for you all to join me and my panel next Thursday, right here at 7 p.m., because I want to continue to conversation with other people. So if you know any entrepreneurs, if you know any solopreneurs, small business owners, anyone out there that are promoting their products and services, please have them to tune in next week, because I want to not only have my perspective or what I believe, is causing the lack of support. But I want the consumers on next week. I want the entrepreneurs on. I want everybody to join the conversation, because we need to come together, as a community and a body of people, to really understand how we can be there for each other and support each other. That is really what it's all about. And I would love for those who are watching to send me any questions in advance of the panel discussion that you would like to discuss with the panel, so we can open up these things that's on your mind, from a business owner, from the supporters and the consumers of small businesses. And I actually would love to hear from those who don't support small businesses. I would absolutely love anyone who is bold enough to send an email or a message or whatever the case may be to me to let me know why you do. I would love to know that. And I'm sure the business owners that will be on the panel and the business owners that will be watching next week, I'm sure they would love to know that as well. Like, why not? What can we do differently as business owners? That's what it's about. It's not about just, not supporting them and not saying anything, but tell us why, so we can make it better, right? So we can make it better for everybody on both ends, for the consumer experience, and then you can support that business that you want to support, right? So I look forward to having everyone here again next Thursday. And like I said, share this live so they can get kind of the part one version of this. And I want, you guys to join me next week. And like I said, share with your friends and family to come on, those who are in those industries or just consumers to just come in and really listen. And I want your voice. I want everyone's voice to be a part of this conversation, because this is a topic that so many people talk about all the time, right? Supporting business, supporting my business, right? But no one is really opening up the conversation to really talk about how we can improve as a business owner. How can we improve as a consumer, right? How can we give that extra support? What else do we need to do? So I would love to continue the conversation. I just want to thank you guys for watching. You guys just always warm my heart. For those of you that come on and watch and participate and communicate, I thank you guys so much. And again, if you want to message me your questions for next week, please feel free to do so. I'm underscore Coach BJ on YouTube, on most of my platforms. On Facebook, I am at Facebook, The Source of Hope 1. If you look at the advertisement, you will see my social media on there as well. And if you haven't already, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm underscore Coach BJ on all of my social media platforms with your family and friends, to subscribe and get notifications when I bring on new talks, new topics, every first and third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. On the same platforms, YouTube and Facebook. And then also the first and second Tuesdays of the month at noons, where I do the Spotlight Tuesdays. So again, I just want to thank you guys for joining. I love you, and you guys have a blessed evening. Bye.